Hey everybody, I found some, didn't know they had such a thing, pork ribeyes, I think is what they called them the other day. And I think really all they did is just take pork chops and cut the bone off of them. But at least finally they are not like paper thin like most pieces of meat I can find these days. And I'm getting kind of late in my day on top of everything else. But I think I have probably about 4 hours-ish before we're going to cook these. Not quite as long as I would like to season pork and have it ready, because usually the more seasoning and time you have, the more tender it will be. But I'm going to go for it anyhow. So I am just taking some kosher salt that I have, and I'm going to put a generous shake on all these pieces. And then I am not measuring anything. I'm not going off of a recipe. I'm shooting from the hip today. After that, I'm going to do some garlic. I'm going to do some cumin. And a little bit of smoked paprika, because I see that's about all I have left, because I keep forgetting to put that on my list. Maybe I can get that done today. And then I'm going to put some Worcestershire sauce on. And I'm going to go ahead, oh, and a little cumin if I didn't say that. So you can do any special thing that you want. You can make it as plain or as jazzy as you want to and grab anything. Or if you'd like to have your pre-mixes, you can do that too. I thought about using some Mrs. Dash, because that's kind of a nice little already pre-made deal, but there again, somebody has not been very good about checking her spices and following up on replenishment. So creativity on my own it is. I'm going to get all of my spices in here first, and then flip them, and then I will do some of my it's kind of like cinnamon and everything else. I can't say it right. Worcestershire sauce. It's kind of like cinnamon and jewelry. Those are very hard words for me. They always have been, and that's okay. You know what I mean. The steak sauce, as a lot of people will call it. Although I think that it can be used for a lot of things. I think it is used for a lot of things. I'm being careful not to get my icky little fingers all over my containers here. One less thing I have got to wipe down later. And then it'll be a flip to see if we're going to put these on the Blackstone tonight, or if I'm just going to cook them here on the stovetop in the oven. We'll kind of play it by ear and see how we're both feeling about life tonight when we get home, because currently it's still very warm out. Not that I really want the heat in the house either, but cooking out on a grill is a little brutal when we're still pretty hot. We'll just have to see which way we go tonight. And then for my fancy side, we're doing some fridge clean out, and I picked up some corn on the cob the other day, so we're just going to throw the corn in the microwave and cook that up, and that's going to be our fancy dinner tonight. No fuss, no muss. I still have a little bit of stir-fried rice I made the other day, and although I am not ashamed to admit it's not as good as my son's, it must be edible, because most of it is gone, but I think he has enough left for tonight's meal. Oh, and I just got the sauce all over. See, I am in my kitchen making a mess. Everything is good. Everything is normal. My goodness. I don't know what kind of sides maybe your family goes to a lot. Sides for me is hard because I have a son who is perfectly happy with rice, or if I could figure out how to make the Chinese noodles, he would like those too, and maybe I'll branch off into that one of these days. Anyhow, that's as fancy as I'm getting with my little marinade. And I'm going to just cover this with plastic wrap and maybe flip it one more time before I start my next round of adventures today. And then flip it again before we pop it on the grill or in the pan, whatever we decide to do. See you in a while. Okay, everybody, we're getting ready to cook up these pork prime ribs, I think they're called. No, pork ribeyes. I have my pan getting hot right now. I'm going to put in some olive oil, just a little bit. And then I'm going to put some butter in. The reason for that is because if you do just regular butter, sometimes it has a tendency to burn by itself. So if you add that olive oil in, it should help that to not burn. And our skillet's already getting there. We want our skillet steaming hot so that we can get a good sear on our pork and help it to cook and retain the moistness in it. Why do I not just put it in the pan as it is? Because this pork really doesn't have any fat on it, or not much, and certainly not enough to prevent it to not stick in our pan. So we need a little bit of extra help here. So we did put that Worcestershire sauce on. So I'm just going to dry these off just a tiny bit before I pop them in. And even though these are thicker than the thin little pork chops you can get most days, they're still not very thick, as you can see. So it really won't take these little things long to cook at all. I started my corn in the microwave already, and I think, as in past days I've told you, pretty sure our microwave is starting to wear out, because normally a 4-minute for 2 ears of corn would be about plenty good. But I'm pretty sure it's going to take at least a total of 8 minutes to get everything done. So I'm going to leave these on this side for only about 2 minutes. Because the other thing you don't want to do with pork is you don't want to overcook it, because it really will dry out. I'm also not going to be flipping it from side to side to side, because that is another thing that really drives me out a lot. I have my heat. I have a gas stove, so mine's in between a 5 and a 6 for my temperature. And like I said, we're going to give this a couple minutes on this side. We'll check them and flip them. So I'll be back here in a few minutes. Okay, it's actually been about 3 minutes and not 2. And I am going to go ahead and flip them now. It looks pretty browning, like they're browning up pretty well. Of course, it is a little hard to tell some of the seasonings I put on. But this one's got a nice sear on it. Hopefully you can see that one. It would have been nice if they would have all done that. But a few of them did. I think part of it is probably the position of my pan on this burner. It doesn't all get equal heat as well as I'd like it to. Alright, so now really I'm going to do it only for another 2 minutes this time. Because I cooked it extra on the other side, because we really don't want it overdone. So I'll be back here shortly. Okay, we are going to take these off. We're going to temp them and let them sit for about 5 minutes. Yeah, that's a better sear on that side. But these ones are beautiful. The sear just turned out really nicely on those ones. take them all out off my burner. And hopefully I still have some tenting material. I do. I save my old aluminum wrap for tenting purposes because simply that's all it is just a little tent that we're going to put over our meat. And we're just going to set it on here just really loosely. And we just want it to sit and kind of marinate in its own juices, so to speak. So we're going to set our timer for 5 minutes. And then we'll come back and cut into one of those and see what we think. Okay, our 5 minutes is up. I have untented them. And we're going to dive into this little one here and see what we think. If you are a well done person, this is probably not quite well done enough for your liking. There is a little bit of pink in here, but not much. It is not underdone. It is not rare. There we go. It is not rare. It is also not well done. My dad would not have been happy with this. He actually liked his meat, I think, just on the verge of charcoal. But anyhow, so again, cumin, a little paprika, garlic, salt, Worcestershire. That's all that I used on this. Very juicy, very flavorful. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks.